When you think Sonic party game, I'm sure the first thing that comes to mind for avid Sonic fans is Sonic Shuffle for the SEGA Dreamcast. And if you really know what's up, you're probably thinking of that multiplayer mode in Sonic and the Secret Rings. Now I want to make a whole video on that mode. Well, before even all that existed, there was one other party game that took the world by storm.
Why you always lying?
Okay, not really. But it's known as Sonic the Hedgehog's Gameworld. Developed by Aspect Co. Limited, who were known for multiple Sonic games at the time like Sonic Chaos and Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Game Gear. It was released in 1994 in Japan and November 1996 in North America. This predates Mario Party, y'all, so if anyone says Sonic Shuffle's a ripoff of Mario Party, just tell them about Sonic the Hedgehog's Gameworld. Really school them on that. So in all honesty, this is more like a Sonic-themed casino playhouse type of game, with several mini-games to choose from. But before I can really talk about that game, we need to discuss the console this was released on, the SEGA Pico.
With Pico, it turns TV into your kid's first computer and turns on the power of their imaginations. With Storybook software, turn the page and images come alive on TV.
SEGA Pico, known in Japan as the kids' computer Pico, was created by SEGA for a much younger audience. In the 90s, their main consoles were primarily aimed at teens, with the too cool for school attitude marketing in a majority of their commercials and branding. But this colorful device debuted in 1993 and was Sega's venture into the educational console market. And it was somewhat successful, being the first console of its kind to ship globally, and would inspire the creation of future educational consoles such as Leapfrog or VTech. The Pico had a mashup of cartridge-based technology, a graphics tablet, and an electronic book reader, allowing the user to use a magic pen or stylus to interact with events happening on their TV screen. That sound familiar?
No.
Yes, so way even before the Nintendo DS, Sega would pioneer the first stylus-based gaming technology. The Pico was a foldable device that could be opened and closed much like a laptop, with the bottom half serving as the area for player input, complete with both buttons and a touchpad for the magic pen. The console required composite cables for TV input to properly play each game. The top half is where the game cartridge known as Storyware could be placed. These were fascinating as each Storyware had a variety of pages that could be flipped through, which would ultimately affect what part of the game was being displayed on screen. So the console knew exactly what page the Storyware was on. You'd be surprised how many things Sega was ahead of the game on. A lot of you may know that the Dreamcast is one of the very first gaming consoles to really push online support via its phone jack, so we gotta give big props to Sega for not being afraid to experiment. I feel like a lot of that changed the gaming market entirely. Speaking of online support, if you want more Mentok goodness, support me on twitch.tv/TheMentok. And don't worry, I've already followed for you.
You can go ahead and check. You'll just have to click the follow button again to undo my handiwork.
Anyway, back to Sonic's Gameworld. Since we're a stickler for story and lore here on the Mentok channel, the premise of the game was that our boy Dr. Robotnik decided to hide Chaos Emeralds on each floor of the Gameworld, an amusement park-like tower. This wouldn't be the first time he opens up an amusement park, and it definitely won't be the last. Also, why is this called Sonic the Hedgehog's Gameworld if Eggman was the one who built this tower in the first place? Anyway, so our heroes Sonic, Tails, and Amy must get through all the mini-games to find the emeralds, and that's about it. But please don't ask me where it goes on the timeline. So once you're in game, you pick an activity to play, and there you have it, you're playing Sonic's Gameworld. You can play it with 1 or 2 players in each minigame, so if you wanted to battle royale it out with your younger sibling, you can do that too. Commence the crying. This is a little aside, but I love that this game has a parent's overview section in the manual, basically trying to convince parents as to why this game is beneficial to their children. Not only will they derive countless hours of entertainment from these games, but at the same time they'll be building their self-confidence. How, Sega? How is this building self-confidence? I recommend giving this part of the manual a read if you take anything out of this video, it's super entertaining. Anyway, so each floor of Gameworld has different themes and several minigames that go along with that theme. In between minigames, you can talk to flicky characters on each floor, and your boy Sonic even has a voice in this game. The first area is sports themed, with the first minigame being a car race. This immediately reminds me of the opening to the Twinkle Park level in Sonic Adventure. I wonder if there's any inspiration there. You also had Sonic Ball, which is skee ball only with Sonic as the ball. The more points you get, the faster your character moves in the little race going on above it. A nice little twist to classic skee ball here. Then there's Hoops, where you're throwing basketballs into living hoop beings?
What?
Man, Gameworld is strange. And finally, the last minigame in Area 1 is Tree Climb, where you can slam a button on the Pico as many times as you can to get your Coconut's robot to climb the tree as much as possible before time's up. I can already hear the distant competitive screaming of siblings across the world with this minigame. Strangely enough, the manual has these little skill builders at the bottom of the page that parents could follow to up the ante a little bit and help their child practice before playing the actual game. Like for example, playing penny toss by throwing pennies into cups to practice for Sonic Ball. Sega, why even have them do all of this in the first place? Just keep playing Sonic Ball.
What's wrong with you?
Speaking of the manual, the Japanese manual is so much better. It's in full color and has some really dope Sonic art in there, along with complete character profiles, the whole 9 yards. The second area of Gameworld is arcade themed. The first game is a flag game where you can match Eggman's flag movements by pressing the corresponding button on the Pico. Also on this floor is Toy Drop, which is a glorified crane game, and oh shit, look, it's Tails Doll. The third game is Robotnik Bop, which is just whack-a-mole, but look, this is also in Sonic Adventure.
Let's see if you can clear this awesome game.
We want all the smoke. We want all the smoke.
The coincidences just keep adding up from here. It would actually be pretty awesome if Sonic Team drew inspiration from this game for Sonic Adventure's minigames. The third area of Gameworld is where things get interesting. In the Japanese release of Sonic's Gameworld, this entire floor is casino themed, complete with minigames such as slots, roulette, a memory game, old maid, and even poker. Because many of these games can be attributed to gambling, of course all of them except for the memory game were cut from the North American release. And the third area in North America was replaced by the fourth area of Gameworld in the Japanese release. I honestly think we should keep all slot machines in these types of games from now on. Looking at you, Pokemon. Because so much of this content was cut, the North American version of the game received a Create Your Own Gameworld page of the storyware, which allowed players to turn a blank canvas into their own version of Gameworld with pre-drawn scenes, animations, and stickers. I honestly would have preferred the casino, but good on Sega for including a slight consolation. I feel these days game publishers would have just cut the content and then sell it back to you as DLC. The fourth area of Gameworld, or third, depending which version of this game you're playing, is a floor themed around Eggman's machinery. I love how it's kind of a callback to the actual games where the level themes become more robotic as you get closer to the end of the game, right before your showdown with Eggman. The mini games on this floor are the Egg Switch game, where you pick an egg to find the Flicky, the memory game that was cut from the casino floor, and Sonic vs. Robotnik, where the aim is to land on the right icons on screen to whittle down Robotnik's HP, or power units in this case.
I just want to take a second to say how much I love the fact that Eggman and Sonic are just punching the crap out of each other in this minigame. No machines, no fancy homing attacks, just good old fisticuffs right here. Amazing.
Finally, once you've beat all the challenges on each floor, it's time for the final showdown on the Gameworld rooftop with Eggman himself. You face off in a game called Diamond Maze, where you trash a bunch of arcade cabinets to locate 5 Chaos Emeralds before Eggman does. And then that's it. You win. Roll credits. I'm not sure why they call this minigame Diamond Maze if you're looking for the 5 Chaos Emeralds in this, and I'm not even gonna question where the other 2 Chaos Emeralds are in this case. And while I initially wanted to discuss this game to poke fun at it, it honestly looks pretty nice, and has loads of awesome artwork that goes along with it. So if you like the classic art style of Sonic that influenced Sonic Mania, there's a few pieces in the promotional art of this game that actually is right up that alley. Meanwhile, the SEGA Pico didn't exactly revolutionize the gaming world, but seeing them dabble in some pretty groundbreaking technology makes this game worth talking about. SEGA developed one more Sonic game for the SEGA Pico known as Tales in the Music Maker. The educational value of this game is a little more apparent, teaching young kids about music with Tails as the focus character, who would demonstrate scales, tempo, rhythm, etc. And if you're wondering about the fate of the SEGA Pico, a successor was developed in Japan in 2005 known as the Advanced Pico Bina, or just the Bina for short. Though it didn't sell very well in Japan in the long run, and no Sonic games were released for it, so not much worth talking about here. So my children, that is the story of Sonic the Hedgehog's Gameworld, the Sonic game you've probably never heard of.
Or maybe you have. I can hear you guys furiously commenting as we speak.
Be sure to slap a like on the video if you enjoyed, because this wouldn't be an official YouTube video if I didn't say it. As always, my children, be safe. The Prophet has spoken.